Good evening, my friend. Thank you so very much for being here. It is Wednesday night, time for WDW Radio Live. I am Lou Mangello. I am so happy to see you again. As you can tell, I'm not in the home studio. I am out and about. So if you're watching live, thank you so much for spending and sharing your night with me. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to join us every Wednesday night right here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, I am in a hotel room. I am in Walt Disney World at one of my favorite resorts on property, which recently reopened. It is the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin. Specifically, I am in the Swan. The Swan is the first of the two to reopen. We'll get all into that. If you've been following along with me through my adventures throughout the day on Instagram, on my stories, and I think I shared on Facebook stories as well, thank you very much. I really wanted to give you a sense of just what the resort looks and feels, and yes, even tastes like. God, it's been so good to get back to some of my favorite restaurants. We'll get to that when we talk about our top five live. There's a little bit of a tease, but I really wanted to. I was really curious about what the Swan and Dolphin was like. So, if you don't know, obviously the Swan and Dolphin closed like everything else. Although the Dolphin has actually been open, they've been hosting the MLS players for Major League Soccer for the last few months. Actually, they left this morning. All the teams left this morning as they finished off their version of a championship tournament type play, which I think is actually, I think it really worked in the Swan and Dolphins' favor because they were able to not just service those guests, including the support staff, there was journalists. They really created their own bubble at the Swan and Dolphin just for those players and were able to learn not just from them as guests, but learn as cast members and service providers what they could do along the way to make changes, make improvements, tweak things for when guests came in. And the Swan opened up to guests on July 29th. They don't have a specific opening day for the Dolphin yet. I would assume it's going to be sometime, probably in September. Labor Day is something that sort of just makes sense if they're able to get all that together. And we'll talk a lot about that. I know hopefully you guys have some questions. To all of you who ask questions on Instagram, I have a lot. We will go through those, hopefully address some of yours as well. I would love to know, for those of you who are watching live or even on the replay, have you ever stayed, right, we'll talk about eating, but have you ever stayed at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin? And if you haven't, I may or may not, during my top five live, have 1 to 5 different reasons why you might want to think about staying here in the future. I can't read the comments without my glasses. I certainly can't welcome you all by name, but it's so good to see so many new. And by the way, if you're watching for the first time, throw a couple of hearts up there and please introduce yourself in the comments so I can try and see you. I see a lot of familiar names and faces, and yes, we're going to talk about not just the Swan and Dolphin. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to do a top five live. We're also going to do our Disney Plus pick of the week. We are going to talk about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, maybe with a couple of bad James Mason impressions thrown in for good measure. I'm also going to share, and I think you could probably guess what it is. I'm going to share what our next Disney Plus, what my pick of the week is going to be, what I want you to go out and watch this week so we can chat about next week. Jennifer is on the boardwalk waving out your window. Jennifer, I am waving to you from a physically distant location. Look, it's one of the things I love about Swan and Dolphin is just how quickly you can get out to them. And I almost did the show from downstairs, but I wanted to show you my room. I wanted to make sure we had, I don't want to interfere, obviously, with any other guests. And I will show you the view, which at sunset is getting even more beautiful than ever. So Eddie Kern saying location, location, location. I agree with you, brother. Like, it's right in the center of Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and Boardwalk, all of which are just a couple of minute walk. And after you eat here, you're going to probably need to walk. God, I need to start walking because I've eaten really well since I've been here. I've been happy to be back. Jonathan Embry just watched 20,000 Leagues for the first time in forever. All right, so we'll get to Disney Plus in a minute. Let's first talk about some of what's been going on this past week. And yes, we'll talk about some of the big changes that have been here as well. Obviously, if you listen to the show this week, and I hope that you do, You heard my interview with Don Hahn about the story of Howard Ashman on Disney Plus. I've known Don for a number of years, going back to the Waking Sleeping Beauty days, back in 2009 with he and Peter Schneider, and then spoke to him again a few other times on the show. I don't remember the show numbers offhand, but he is a super nice guy, incredibly talented, and incredibly tall, by the way. I know I'm not the tallest dude in the room, but he is a giant among men and a fantastic storyteller. And if you haven't watched Howard on Disney Plus, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. It's what we're going to be watching next week. More importantly, if you checked out this week's show, please do me a favor. If you think you know somebody else that might, if you think you know somebody else, I'm trying to get Melanie Jones. She says, my big brother Don. If you think you know somebody else that might enjoy it, please do me a favor. Share out the podcast in however and wherever you see fit, because I really do appreciate you helping to spread the word. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about Howard when we start to talk about our Disney Plus pick of the week. Jonathan said he loved this week's episode, and Howard, look, I could have talked to Don Hahn, all day, all night long. Just and such a really, really, it's just a wonderful guy too. He's just and clearly somebody who is incredibly passionate about what he does and sharing the stories of other people. But I'm moving forward. Don Hahn is like a Hulkbuster version of Lou, says Kevin Lively. I sort of want a screenshot. I think that's a good thing. So Kim Hazard says, great episode. Donna is sitting in Japan with a frothy ramen. If I wasn't here, Donna, that's exactly where I would want to be. And now I'm sort of thinking that I could really walk. Well, I can't just walk over there, but would love to be able to walk over there and have another frothy ramen. Melanie Jones says he's so down to earth and just the best. Yeah, when we were at Galaxy's Edge, when it first was opening for the event here, I took my son with me, and Don was there, and Don and my son rode Rise of the Resistance together, and my son still talks about it. Just getting to ride with him and hearing him sort of describe his feelings about it. So definitely please check out the show. And oh, by the way, I didn't just realize, I should have known this coming for the past 15 years. It's show 599. And if I'm doing the mathematicals correct, that means next week is show 600. You know me, I'm not a numbers guy, the numbers don't matter. But for you and for us, it is quite a milestone to have hit that over the past, 15 plus years, or actually coming close to 16 next year of podcasting. I haven't quite figured out how we're going to celebrate it yet, but I've got plenty of time. I've got a good 2-3 days to come up with an idea and record it. So definitely check out this week's show and share out the interview with Don Hahn about Howard. And maybe this is a good time to transition into insert some type of music here. It's my pick of the week. I don't have any music ready, but it would be the pick of the week where I share with you something that I think is worth watching on Disney Plus. It could be a movie, it could be a classic, it could be animated, it could be a short, it might be on something on Nat Geo. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that is by, from, or about Disney. And that's the beautiful part about Disney Plus, is there are so many different content sources to choose from. So last week, for the first one, I gave you 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Sorry, I did such a bad James Mason impression, but I don't care because I love him so very much. As you know, 20,000 Leagues was a 1954 film based on the Jules Verne book. And if you watched 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, either in this past week, do me a favor, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Is it something that you had seen before? Had you never watched 20,000 Leagues before the pick of the week? And if so, what you thought about it? Darlene says, I loved watching 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Did the James Mason and Peter... Listen, I won't even do the Peter Lorre, who I just love watching because he has such a unique cadence to his voice, much like James Mason. I actually love James Mason so much. As soon as I was done with 20,000 Leagues, I went and watched Journey to the Center of the Earth. So I had a James Mason Tokyo Disney Sea vibe going, but I would love to hear your thoughts in terms of the film itself. Was it your first watch? Was it a rewatch? Does it hold up? I mean, look, 1956 at 444. That's like 65 years old. And I think that, yeah, while some of the special effects might not seem super special in 2020, I think the film holds up. And I think there's some, I think production wise, I think that the sets are some of the most beautiful I've ever seen from a live action Disney film from 1956 to 2020. Like, I think they're that good. I think Captain Nemo's quarters are just spectacular. And as you know, because I shared it on Daily Disney Trivia, the organ from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is actually the one that is in the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. The one that's in Disney World is a copy of the one that's in Disneyland, which obviously came from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Aaron King says it still holds up. It's always my dad's favorite. Comments are going fast and furious. Jonathan says, I'm 34. My first time watching, I thought it was good. A little slow at some paces, but it was a good and a must watch. And I think that's a great and very accurate description of it. Because of when it was shot, maybe the dialogue and maybe some of the pacing is not what we're used to in a Marvel movie, like, quick and fast. It very much is, a 3-act play, and it takes place not just in the sub and on water, but some of the scenes on land and in Volcania, etc. Even again, some of the production, though, that Victorian era production in the first act of the film, I think is just so good. Katrina says, I spent a lot of time comparing Kirk Douglas to Michael Douglas. I know he looked like his father a couple times when I had to do a double tape. Look, I love Kirk. Listen, you forget again, how Kirk Douglas is what, 100, like literally, like he's like 102 now. He was, I think he's excellent in the film, and I love his, if you don't have Whale of a Tale sort of playing over and over your head, you need to go back and watch it again. Darlene Lovett, Kelly Lawrence says the sets were great. Let's see. I did my homework, although I saw it before. Have they fixed the big hole in the sub? Shelley says 20,000 Leagues was good. I'm sure that in 56 the effects were impressive. Loved seeing the underwater scenes. When we did our, at the time, I think it's still called Backstage Magic Tour of Hollywood, which, if Becky Menken is here, we need to do again in the future when we start doing Adventures by Disney again. You actually go to the soundstage where they filmed 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, including where they built the water tank to film all of the water. And again, it's this cavernous building, but there was a couple of scenes that, yes, there were some certainly filmed, on the ocean, but there were some that you cannot believe were actually filmed on a soundstage. Even Kim says, yeah, the special effects are still exceptional, and I don't disagree with you. I think a lot of them really hold up. Jennifer says, look, it was my first time watching, and I couldn't stop watching it. Thank you greatly. I love that. That's the whole point of, doing my pick each and every week, is not only bringing back maybe an old favorite, but introducing one that you hadn't seen before. Kate hasn't gotten to it yet. You don't remember much. It's funny, Kate, I watched it right before it was my pick of the week. I was just, for a change of pace, I moved from my office upstairs to the couch, and I just wanted something on in the background while I was doing email. Usually I sort of work in complete silence, actually. And I chose 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I found myself more distracted wanting to watch it, and then I decided I need to watch it the right way, and then late that night, I turned it on. Late that night was really technically early in the morning. It was at 1 o'clock in the morning that I started watching it, because I really wanted to pay attention to the dialogue, to the acting, to the music. Again, some of the background matte painting, the model work, Harper Goff's Nautilus submarine is just gorgeous. I actually, on my shelf behind me at home, I have two different Disney sort of collectible versions of that sub because I think it's just gorgeous, and that's one of the reasons why I had such an affinity to the attraction when it was in Walt Disney World. William says, I honestly thought 20,000 Leagues was better than a lot of the movies that are coming out now. Becky Menken from Mouse Fan Travel, of course, turns it back to she the perfect beverage pairing for this movie. Listen, you enjoy your movies, all of you, in whatever way it becomes most enjoyable. Beatrice Dennis says, I loved rewatching it. Can't stop singing Whale of a Tale. And actually, the version in the movie is actually not the version that you'll find on Disney soundtracks. It was actually re-recorded for the Disney soundtrack. It was actually slightly rearranged too. So the version on film is actually, this is not the correct musical term, but it's almost like a simpler version of the one that you hear. Although some of the lyrics are different too. You'll hear that some of the different verses are different on the film than they are on what you'll find on the old CDs, and I'm sure you can find it on Spotify. So yeah, Mike Vidal says the soundtrack is available for those interested. Mark actually watched this at a drive-in so many years ago. Mark, drive-ins are coming back, baby. Thank you, COVID. But yes, drive-thrus are, looks like they are making a little bit of a comeback. So Sean says, if there's a movie that should get a remake, it's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I am split down the middle, right? There's part of me that sort of loves these classics and want them to just remain as it is, but then I also get excited about the possibilities, right? What could a new 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea be? And who knows? Maybe it's one of the ones that's on the list. Scott says, I spent many Saturdays sitting by my pop watching 20,000. It was amazing for me as a kid and as today, a mix of adventure and social commentary. I still want Pet Seal, who was very well trained, by the way. Jim Morohosky says, I miss the attraction, as do I. I miss the attraction very, very much. Harper Goff, Jeremy says, I get excited. Listen, I love Harper Goff. I'm almost 93.87% sure that I did, when I was doing the Legends of Imagineering shows, I'm almost sure I did a show about Harper Goff. If not, I need to do it. I just need to find someone who could do it with this. Only there was somebody out there who had the knowledge of Harper Goff and his work and come on can talk about it. But who knows? Jeff C. says, it's one of my favorite sub-movies of all Jeff C.'s sub-movies, and he has many favorites over at Manly Pinterest Tips, where you can find all. I think Jeff has his list of top 10 sub-movies. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is one of them. Carlos Eduardo Silva from Punta Orlando says, hey, from South Florida. It's good to see you, my friend. Scott Sanders, one of the first times I watched it was on VHS. Yikes. Yeah, there certainly are some scenes that would have to sort of be, look, dialogue in films, and this is not to go off on a tangent, but dialogue in the films from especially 30s, 40s, and 50s would have to be modified for a more modern audience for a lot of different reasons. So, yes, I do need to do I thought I did one, but Anthony says I did one with Ryan Wilson. Yeah, I thought I did one years ago. So if somebody can find it and find the link, please let me know. So I would love to, Amanda Bonner goes right to the heart of the situation, which is my stomach. I just ate at kimonos. We'll talk about that when we start talking more about the Swan and Dolphin. But anyway, so that was last week's Disney Plus pick of the week. I want to get to talking about where we are, but I do want to give you my pick for this coming week. Obviously, it is going to be Howard, based on the interview with Don Hahn from this week's podcast. So please, if you haven't watched Howard yet, do it, watch it, devote yourself and your attention to watching it, and we will talk about it both in the group on Facebook, and then we're also going to talk about it on the show next week. So definitely check out Howard. Very, very, very highly recommended. But I do want to talk about where we are this week and where I've been taking you with me really for the entire day. I checked into the Swan last night. The Swan was incredibly gracious to host me, and I was excited to get back because, look, even when I lived in New Jersey, I talked about how much I love this resort for a lot of different reasons. And I think the Swan and Dolphin often mistakenly get overlooked by visitors to Walt Disney World. I think there's sometimes a very much a misconception that it's a quote unquote convention hotel. And yes, they do have convention space. They do hold a lot of meetings and events here. But there's also a lot of reasons and advantages to coming and staying here. One, look, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but location, 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 the rooms, the amenities, the pool. So it's not just for people who are staying here for events and conventions, but it very much is a family-friendly style resort. And you know what? Maybe it's even easier if we do it this way instead. Maybe if I gave you my top 5 reasons to stay at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Hotel. That will help us get into a dialogue about it. And again, I want to know if you have stayed here as yet. So look, I'm going to share with you, wait a minute, wrong button. I want to share with you my top 5 things that I love about the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Resort. This was actually a very, very difficult list to put together. Again, I've been staying here since last night. I have been wandering the premises throughout the day. Right now, so again, like I said, if you're joining late, right now only the Swan is open. The Dolphin has been hosting Major League Soccer for a while now, which has actually been good for everybody involved, especially the staff at the Swan and Dolphin, really being able to learn and test and adjust. But I want to just quickly get into my top 5 things that I love about the Swan and Dolphin, and then we're going to talk more about what it looks and feels like now, and maybe why you should come in the future. And maybe, just maybe, if you're really, really nice to me, I'll have a special offer for you from the Swan and Dolphin. Even Becky Mankin from Mouse Fan Travel says, we book a ton of Swan and Dolphin, and yes, we can book their discounts too at Mouse Fan Travel. Very, very good to know. So here are the top 5 things I love about the Swan and Dolphin. I struggled with this list because I wanted to put, it really almost ended up being an entirely food list, but let's just sort of get into it and then let's talk more about the resort in general. Number 5 are the heavenly beds. Part of the reason why I wanted to broadcast from my room is because right behind me is the aforementioned heavenly beds. This is a Marriott hotel. They have the most, I don't know what it is about the sheet and the pillows, whatever it is. I slept really, really well last night in my resort. The beds are super comfortable. There's a number of different room categories and arrangements, from regular rooms to suites to, if you want to have small business meetings in some of the larger rooms, there's a wide variety and categories of rooms to stay in as as well. Number 4, the Grotto at the Swan Pool, which admittedly I did not even know was a thing until today. I'm being told to jump on the beds. I love the heavenly beds. The Grotto at the Swan Pool. So I showed you today on my Instagram stories the backside of water. There are a number of waterfalls at the Swan Pool. Again, today, the Dolphin Pool area, we were not able to use the entire thing. I assume that is going to be open probably in the next few days. They'll open up cabanas. They'll open up the entire pool area. But I love the Grotto area where you can sit in the shade, literally staring at the backside of water, the backside of the waterfall. And it's a very sort of chill, relaxing place. What I love about the pool, actually multiple pools, because there's really not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. There's 5 different pools at the resort. There is a quiet pool not too far away. There's children's play areas. There's outdoor games. There's like giant-sized chess. There's billiards. There's table tennis. There's the pool bar. But the pool has a water slide for kids. It's got plenty of right now physically distance seating, both in the sun and in the shade. A lot of waterfalls. So it's a really wonderful environment. You got beautiful views of the lagoon. They have swan boats, which I think are not operational right now, but probably will be soon. So you could actually do like a little swan boat like paddle boat-y thing on it's not a paddle boat, it's like a little foot thing on the lagoon. So I love the pool area. I actually wish I was staying longer to take more advantage of the pool. Listen, let's get right into it. You should really be surprised that the whole list is not just food. Kimonos was like number three. It was number one. It was no. I just ate at kimonos literally a matter of like minutes ago. I think it's probably I've only been up here for about 45 minutes. I said it before. I'll say it again. Go back and listen to past shows. If you ask me where to find the best sushi on property or maybe even in the area, like Kimonos is an authentic Japanese style sushi bar. If you look at my Instagram stories, I posted a picture of the menu, which, having been to Japan, I can tell you is very authentic because everything is written in Japanese. There is a column of English translation, and you sort of you do it sort of Edo style. You sort of pick, you do it, piece by piece what you want. They have sushi, sashimi, rolls, cooked, uncooked, a huge selection, which are, and it was just outstanding. It was outstanding. I'm not gonna lie. There's a good chance I'm going back because I wanted to eat more, but I had to get up here. Actually, I'm not lying. There's actually a little bit left over because the people I was dining with didn't finish theirs. Like, I don't have the time to eat it now, but I'll take it up to my room. And oh, by the way, and I have to find out. I don't know if they're doing it right now, but normally on weekends, fortunately it wasn't tonight, they have karaoke in Kimono as well. Again, a very Japanese thing too. Outstanding food, exceptional service as well. And I may or may not have been able to attest to the fact that the Nagori sake was absolutely fantastic. So number three is kimonos. You'd probably assume that number two is going to be a dining establishment as well, but it's location, location, location. And I could almost put this as a number one on the list. The Swan and Dolphin are positioned within walking distance of both Epcot Center as well as Disney's Hollywood Studios, and obviously Disney's Boardwalk as well. So you have the ability to very easily get to and from two of the theme parks, as well as an entertainment district, especially at night. Like you go to Epcot or Studios during the day, you want to come back to your resort, chill out by the pool. When it opens up again, the Mandara Spa is, and maybe I need to check it out again for myself. I would possibly put the Mandara Spa as the best spa in all of Walt Disney World. It has this wonderful, exotic, warm Balinese type decor and feel to it, but location cannot be beat. The ability to walk or take a boat once the ferry boats start again. There's a dock right at the causeway in between the Swan and Dolphin that you can take to Hollywood Studios. You can take to Epcot Center. So if you don't feel like walking, it's a great way to do it without having to worry about taking any other type of transportation. And of course, the transportation is free. So this should probably come as a surprise. If you know me, and you do, this should probably not come as a surprise to anybody. But number one on my list, I just couldn't get away from it, is Blue Zoo. Blue Zoo, Blue Zoo, Blue Zoo. For years and years and years, I lived and died and swore by Blue Zoo. It was far and away my favorite restaurant in Walt Disney World. It was one of my favorite restaurants, period. It's a Todd English restaurant with a seasonal menu. It's not only seafood. They have excellent steaks as well. But I will tell you again that the miso glazed miro and the Cantonese lobster, keep going back and forth because I love them both so very much, is some of the best food I have ever that put in my mouth. The miso glazed miro just melts in your mouth with this wonderful like umami, and then the Cantonese lobster. Listen, they take the a whole lobster. They take out the lobster meat. They lightly bread it and fry it in some sort of a magical, delicious, sweet and savory sauce. They put it back into the lobster and they serve it over a bed of jasmine rice. Ay, Dios mío. Bluzu, when you open up again, I'm coming back in because it's been way, way too long since I've had it. However, I had to give a few honorable mentions to Jeremy Goff says, I remember the days of Lou talking nonstop about Bluzu, like every episode. Beatrice Dennis loves Bluzu. Jim Rohosky says he always spoke of it. Anthony Flacco, one of my favorite meals ever at Walt Disney World. A lot of people. Jamie Williams, Cantonese lobster. Kate Williams says my daughter loves peekaboo. So my honorable mentions are Il Molino, where I had dinner last night, Shula's, The Fountain, and Finn's. So Il Molino is an Italian restaurant. I went there last night, and I was deciding between the linguine and white clam sauce and the gnocchi bolognese, and the server said, I got you. What if I just gave you a half order each? If it wasn't a physically distant world we were living in and it be incredibly appropriate, I would have gotten up and hugged that woman because I had such a good meal. And then I had this amaretto cheesecake, which was very light. It wasn't like a heavy, dense New York style. It was such an enjoyable meal. I think Il Molino is, yeah, like the pasta is fresh. Is it the best Italian food on property? I think it is. Shula's, we probably know Shula is a renowned steakhouse. The Fountain is a small, casual table service restaurant inside the lobby of the Dolphin that has, I know they have not only one of the best burgers on the property, on Walt Disney World property, but I know all I'm doing is talking about food and I just had dinner. The buffalo chicken salad, I know Lou actually has eaten a salad before in his life. The buffalo chicken is so good. And Finn's, when it reopens again in the lobby of by the way, when I say newly renovated, I mean over the past year or so, the entire resorts, the Swan and Dolphin rooms as well, have been renovated. In the newly renovated and very cozy and comfortable lobby of Bluzu, that's a one-track mind, of the Dolphin is Finn's, which is a bar, but, if you come here on a Sunday morning, they have a special Bloody Mary brunch where they have not one, not two, not three, but 4 different types of Bloody Marys, which really are meals in and of themselves because each one is inspired by and includes a skewer full of food from either Il Molino, Shula's, kimonos. Yes, there's sushi in a stick on your Bloody Mary, and I believe the other one is sushi, kimonos, Bluzu, Shula's, and God, I don't remember the other one. I have to go back. We have to go back, Kate. When they first introduced them, I came here and tried them out. They are wonderful. So that is my top 5 things that I love about the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin. Obviously, there are many, many more. I'd like to know, for you watching live or on the replay, if you love the Swan and Dolphin, which I think that you do, and what are some of the things that you love about it? So I see Kim says, I love the Fountain. It's a hidden gem. Kate Wallace says, the Bolognese was so good. Beatrice Dennis says, oh, Shula's and Molino, you had to bring it up. Scott is getting hungry. I should have warned you. Amanda Bonner from Disney Travel for All says the chicken parmesan there was incredible. Let's see. Kathy is not coming till November, and she's incredibly hungry. Joe says it's a great environment. Oh, Fresh Mediterranean. Mark, I haven't been to. So Fresh is on the Dolphin side, which is currently closed. Again, I am guessing, hoping, wishing that maybe mid-September, Labor Day, we'll see everything on the Dolphin side opened up because right now the restaurants are not there. So Matthew Sorolla says he loves the architecture of the resorts. Kate Wallace says very good pool. Rich Ostry says best mini golf on property is right across the street. So if you looked, I think I posted it on my stories today. As you're walking by the Swan to the pool, there's a walkway to Fantasia Gardens mini golf, which is literally right across the street. It's maybe a 3-minute walk. Fantasia Gardens, I think, sometimes is overlooked from Winter Summerland. Fantasia Gardens there's two courses there. Um, it's a very challenging course. One of the courses is very, very challenging, but really a lot of fun. And I think that's one of the reasons why I keep saying, now is the time, now is the best time to come and visit Walt Disney World. Why? Because yes, the parks are not very crowded. There's a lot of advantages to that as well. What that really means is that you can now, and look, I've been to all of our parks at least once, so I've spent a lot of time in the parks. And what I have found is that you really can tackle and accomplish everything that you want to in probably 5-6 hours. And that's not an exaggeration. And I mean Flight of Passage more than once. I mean Seven Dwarfs Mine Train more than once. Like being able to do every attraction in Disney's Animal Kingdom, every attraction that I wanted to do, including some of the big ones in Magic Kingdom, and then being done by late afternoon, early evening is really nice because now all of a sudden, look, you're paying to stay at a resort. Now you have the ability to go back and enjoy it. So you go to Epcot or you go to Hollywood Studios, you do everything there, you take a boat ride back to the Swan. Now all of a sudden you can take advantage of all the recreational activities. The spa, once it opens up again, there's children's play areas, there's a great pool. Like, this really is the best time ever to go. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that's enough incentive for you. Like, I think it is. I was trying to show you all the reasons. Maybe I need to give you a little bit more incentive than that. Maybe there's something. Maybe there's something else that I need to give you to help you come back to the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin. By the way, I'm seeing a lot of people sort of reiterating. So Joe Master says Disney is safer than your hometown. They've done a great job. So much was walk on. Same thing here at the Swan and Dolphin. I think I showed on my Instagram stories again today, and I saved it. I saved it as a highlight, so you can go back and check them all out again. The standards that Disney has set are obviously followed through here at the Swan and Dolphin in terms of cast members doing their part in terms of sanitizing, cleaning, face shields, social distancing. Guests are as well. There are reminders and indicators everywhere. Again, not in a way that is intrusive at all, but more importantly, in a way that made me feel incredibly comfortable. So when I went to dinner last night, lunch and dinner tonight, no table was closer than 6 feet. I mean, if you looked at the pictures, and I'll share them again from Il Molino last night, there was a lot of space in between the tables. People are distancing everywhere throughout the resort. There's not a lot of people here, so it makes it even easier. So I applaud them again. I feel so comfortable that I'm going to come back probably in the next few weeks with my family, do a little staycation here, because the reasons that I'm giving you, my top 5 reasons, are ones that I believe in. And if I didn't feel safe and comfortable and happy and certainly very well fed here, I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable taking my family back. And Barb says, Fantastic is so fun, but so hard. But like, that's the thing. Like, I know that we can stay here, take a boat over to Epcot or Hollywood Studios, come back early afternoon, take a nap, go to the pool, go play miniature golf, and then go eat. Like, that's exactly what we want to do for our vacation. Chrissy says, I love the atmosphere of both resorts, the music, the lighted palm trees, the fact that you can take the boats. There is something about the way these resorts smell. There's some sort of a scent that they pump in, especially when you walk in from the porte cochere at um, the Dolphin. There's something spa-like almost about how nice they smell. So I was working in my room a lot of the day today. Downstairs, I took my laptop. There was a ton, especially off the main lobby. There are a couple of wings. There's a ton of places to sit with more than ample distance to say. Like, I didn't see another soul within 20 feet of me. power outlets, comfortable chairs, both inside and outside. So I love the fact that this resort, and I think I sent a picture. There's a couple of sort of atrium areas around each of the two wings that have couches and chairs and umbrellas that you can sit outside, you can work, you can hang out. And look, if you feel like I want to go to Walt Disney World and maybe I want a little bit of extra cushion and space, like that's exactly what I felt here. Like there was a lot of places that I found that there were no other guests at all. So I felt really, really comfortable. And thinking about guests that might be hesitant to come, that's I think that's definitely a plus. So Kim wants to come back. She wants to wait until December. Mike Sizemore is coming here Monday. Mike, I'm sorry I'm going to miss you by just a couple of days. We should probably try and eat at some point if we can. Barb says the Swan and Dolphin is a very complete resort. Jason Knapp from here with themagic.com says I literally feel safer in Disney than Publix or any other retail location outside the Disney bubble. I agree. Again, I think the Swan and Dolphin learned a lot by creating their own bubble for the MLS players. Were really able to adjust and implement very, very quickly, especially for when they opened up to guests at the end of July. Anthony says, we're going to be here Tuesday and Wednesday. We're eating at Topolino's Monday night. Oh, Anthony, the rigatoni at Topolino's is so good, by the way. There is a Marriott branded scent that only the Marriott hotels have. Devin, whatever it is, if we could somehow find a way to bottle that up, it's so good. Shay Jones says hidden gems right in the open are what the Swan and Dolphin are. Shay, I think it's a great way to put it. Again, I think, and part of the reason why I'm here is to introduce you to some of the things that maybe you might not have realized or overlooked about this resort. By the way, if you have any questions, please let me know. Now is the time to ask. And by the way, if any of you asked questions on Instagram, I have a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions to answer on Instagram. I'll answer some of them here in case you have it. So somebody says, why do they never seem to offer any AP or Florida resident discounts? It's funny you should say that, because actually if you go to swandolphin.com, there's a number of different offers that are on right now. So there's an annual pass holder rate, which is up to 30% off regular rates. They have a Florida resident up to 30% off rate. They also have a senior citizen rate. You can, over 62, I'm getting there. You can save at least 25%. They've always had this, and I dig it. A nurse's appreciation rate, a special offer for teachers and school support staff, as well as for military and government employees. You can save up to 25%. AAA, CAA. There's a lot of different discounts that you can find. Again, if you go to swandolphin.com/offers, you can find that out. But I don't necessarily think that that's enough. I think that maybe there's another offer that the Swan and Dolphin could do just for us. You asked, I asked for you, they delivered. So if you call the Swan Dolphin and mention the WDW radio promotion, you'll get a complimentary balcony upgrade at the Swan or Dolphin for any stay between now and December 24th. So if you call that 800 number on the bottom by this Friday to make a new reservation, tell them about the WDW radio promotion. They will give you a complimentary balcony upgrade. And as the sun is setting outside, before we end up tonight, I will give you a look out and show you what my balcony view looks like of the lake and the beach club and the Dolphin as well. So screenshot this. I'll also post it in the group over on Facebook. So let me just quickly go through a couple of other questions here as well. Somebody says that Shula's has the best Manhattan on property. Susie at the Komodos at the Swan. I agree 1,000%. Is the Grotto pool open? Yes, it is. Breakfast option. So they have a number of different breakfast options. So in the Swan, currently open right now, is called Java, where you can get quick grab and go items, snacks. They also have pre-packaged and pre-prepared food, yogurt. There's also a bakery where you can get egg sandwiches, you can get granola. There's a coffee and tea bar as well. So there's a lot of places there. There's also the Garden Grove, which is in here. I posted a picture of that as well. Beautiful inside. Tables are very, very distanced. Go check out my stories so you can see it for yourself. They have a huge tree in the middle. Normally, there's a character breakfast there. Again, a very, very overlooked character meal. I think guests just don't realize sometimes how family friendly and how inviting these resorts are. Obviously, right now, there are no character breakfasts here yet. They will be coming back, but you can definitely check it out there. Um, let's see. The best burger at the Swan. Oh, it's not a question. It's a the best burger at the Swan is yes. Becky, that answer is yes. Um, is the Disney Planning Center closed too? Is it just the Good Neighbor Hotels? So there is a Disney store, an officially run Disney store in the lobby. I do believe that the planning centers are currently not operational. I can't even venture a guess as to when that might be. Um, yes, you can use Mousefan Travel to book those distance. You can book those discounts as well. Also, somebody's asking about transportation. So there is complimentary transportation by bus from the Swan and Dolphin to all the resorts in Disney Springs. Obviously, there's also the boats, the friendship boats leave out of the dock here as well. Somebody says, eat some good food and share. I did it. How are the crowds at the hotel? Says Tarek. I've been at the resort all day long. There are not a lot of guests here. Again, they might be out and about in the parks after the show. I'm going to go back downstairs. I want to sort of just see what it's like. But I was at Il Molino for dinner last night. There was clear availability in terms of tables that were empty. So again, it's a great time to go and especially if you are concerned about being physically distanced, it's very, very easy to do here. Um, the restaurants in the pool are open. Dining at the resort, we've talked about. What is the pool area like? Do the rooms have a good view? Says Crystal. So I have a beautiful view of both sort of the courtyard area, the causeway, the lagoon, and I can see the beach club and the Dolphin from here. Once the lights pop on, I'll take you outside and show you. Mike Sizemore, the restaurants here in the Swan are open. The ones in the Dolphin are not currently. I don't want to give an exact date as to when they might be open, but I would imagine them opening relatively soon. The boats are currently not running right now. Deborah says, I'm so tempted to make a reservation and just go because of the upgrade in all the restaurants. Deborah, do it! It's so good. Make sure you go to Kimonos and then go to Il Molino and then go to, trust me, um, is karaoke still happening at Komodo's? Not right now, and it is only on the weekends. Are there any significant differences between the Swan and the Dolphin? They're right across from each other. They're sister resorts. The Swan is a little bit smaller in terms of number of rooms. The convention center is located over at the Dolphin. It's a little bit larger in terms of scale. The lobby is a little bit more grander. There's the Fins is there. There's obviously different restaurants in each of the locations as well. I'm trying to go through these as quickly as I can. Um, how is the sushi? It's the best on property. Mandara Spa is not open currently. I know that they are working to try and get that open in the safest way possible, as quickly as possible. A lot of people are asking about the food. I wonder why people are asking me about food. Um, is the pool cabanas open? So right now, Splash is open at the Swan. That's where I had a delicious tuna poke bowl at Splash. What I believe is going to happen is once they open up cabanas on the Dolphin pool side, it's a little bit bigger. You can spread out a little bit more. I think that Splash is probably going to close and they'll direct everybody over to, and again, it's all connected. The entire pool area is connected, so it's a very easy walk, just a couple of minutes from the Swan. Karaoke currently not happening. A lot of people asking about food and pools. A lot of stuff about, Am I going to Bluezoo it up as soon as it opens? I am going to Bluezoo it up again, says G. Masood. Can I take photos of the Dolphin lobby? Again, today the MLS checked out of the lobby. Sorry, they checked out of the Dolphin. I was able to go over with a cast member and see it. The Swan and Dolphin have definitely taken advantage of the time with the resorts being closed to clean and just update a lot of the things. It's almost like a refreshing of it. So it looked brighter. Like the floors look like they were just put down brand new. So they are coming. Also, what is coming too is you might not realize that there's actually a third resort being built here with the Swan and Dolphin. So right across the way, next to where Fantasia Gardens is, originally there were tennis courts there. There is a new, as yet unnamed, resort going up right now. That construction is back underway. Very beautiful, very different in terms of stylings from the Swan and Dolphin. It's a floor-to-ceiling glass, so it's got a very clean, very modern look for that. I don't believe that they have a timetable as yet. Somebody said that the dynamite shrimp bowl that was on the menu also, it did sound delicious too. I think Fred said the Dolphin lobby at Christmas is one of the best. I agree. They do amazing stuff here at Christmas. Years ago, I interviewed, I think both of them, Santa and Mrs. Claus, because you might not realize they vacation at the Swan and Dolphin, and they come down here like before Christmas time, and they're here in like their Hawaiian shorts and flip-flops, and really cool thing that they do out on the causeway as you start getting ready for the holidays before Santa and Mrs. Claus go back. I'll have to find the video of me. It might have been on the podcast. I don't know. I love Mrs. Claus so very much. Let's see. Where am I eating? Where am I eating? Is it owned? So it is currently. These are Marriott resorts. Is the Food and Wine Classic happening this year? Unfortunately, no. Everybody, myself included, is very sad to see it happening. But look, this is all these things that are happening are temporary. So we know that they will come back at some point in the future. Princess Jasmine 514 says, "Can I see the pool area?" Yeah, if you go to my Instagram stories from earlier today, that's why I decided not to do this outside. I don't think you would really appreciate it as much. I took a lot of pictures of the Swan pool area as well as the part of the Grotto and the again, there's 5 pools here, but I showed you the area that is currently open. The rest of the pool area as well as cabanas is going to open in the next couple of days. I think probably by the end of the weekend. Jody, always good to see you. I miss you very much as always. Wow, every other question is about food. Where the most delicious food is at. Boy, Bluezoo is it depends on what you're going. My answer is it depends. It depends on what you're going for. I think Bluezoo is exceptional. If you want a really good steak, Shula's is very tough to beat, and Komodo's is outstanding. Like, I'm literally thinking about going back and getting some additional sushi before the end of the night, because I think they're open till 11 tonight as well. So I love the night show between the resorts to the music. So that happens during the holidays. But actually, when I was here last night, the lights on the causeway are up, and I'll try and take you out before the night is out to see it. Okay, so if you have any other questions, let me know. I'll continue to answer them here. You can also go into the group on Facebook. You can tweet me. You can message me on Instagram, the Facebook, wherever you might be. Becky Menken also says Bluezoo has great cocktails. I don't disagree. Actually, when Bluezoo reopens again, you can actually go without a reservation to the bar and eat at the bar, and I believe you can still order off the full menu. And they also have a really nice, especially late night bar menu there as well. So again, go to the park. You can walk to Epcot or take the boat to Hollywood Studios or walk to either. Spend a few hours in the park, come back, relax, take advantage of your resort, use the pool, stay for dinner. rinse and repeat. Do it all again the next day. Again, lots of different advantages to here, which is why, again, I gave you the my top 5. But again, if you want to come before the end of the year, before December 24th, the Swan and Dolphin is offering you, I'm talking to you, a complimentary balcony upgrade if you just mention WDW Radio when you call, or if you have your travel agent call from Mouse Van Travel, they can do that for you as well. So Crystal says my new office is pretty. Thank you very much. Look, I will tell you again, incredibly comfortable beds. Also, when I walked in, again, everything would be sanitized. One of the things I noticed too, that they have, not just in your room, but throughout the resorts, like in check-in areas and some other locations, is they have little packages of antiseptic wipes. So when I was checking in, there were wipes there. So if you have to use the credit card machine or a pen, when I got my banana and my tea this breakfast this morning at Java, they actually had 2 different sort of areas. There was a cup of clean pens and a cup of used pens. And once I used my pen, they put I used my pen. I signed my name. Once I used the pen, they took it and they put it in the other, so they're single use. So even the pens, again, it's a small detail, but the small details speak large volumes. Because if they're doing that with the pens, right, it shows that they're doing it on a larger scale as well. And when I was in live from the Disney parks and the resorts, I was explaining the same thing. Everything speaks. All those little details matter. So when you see Disney, the Swan and Dolphin, again, collectively taking these kind of small measures, it's reflective of the larger measures that are being taken throughout. Jason said it, a few other people said it before, about feeling safer at the Disney resorts and theme parks than they do at their local grocery store, their local hardware store, their local restaurants. I reiterate that 100 times over. And I've said repeatedly, if Disney ran the grocery store, my kid's school, I would feel 1,000 times safer and more comfortable. And that's the reason why I've been doing this, the reason why I've been going live, so you can see it for yourself, the reason why I've been sharing on my stories and doing this from here tonight is because I want you to make your own judgment and determinations for what's comfortable for you, but I want you to see live, unfiltered, unproduced, unedited, exactly what is going on, and then you make the determination. I'm here to answer questions if you have it, because I've been to all the parks, I've been to a lot of the resorts, I've eaten, obviously, at a lot of the restaurants. I will tell you for me, I not only feel comfortable, I feel most comfortable. I feel so comfortable here, I'm going to bring my family back in the next few weeks. We have not been able to do any sort of vacation really this summer. Our Adventures by Disney to Wyoming, our group trip, unfortunately, has been postponed. We're going to come back for a staycation because all the advantages that I just laid out for you, my top 5 list, are things that I personally feel. And so I'm very, very comfortable bringing my family back. Can you show us the view from the balcony? I will. I'm going to tease it. I'm going to make you stay so that you actually have to see it. Let's see. Becky says, "This is my comment. If there was a Star Trek beaming technology direct to Walt Disney World, I would be there. I would be." Well, listen. I think this is the best time to come to the parks, without a doubt. Mike says he wants to have a club meetup at Blue Zoo for cocktails. So, Mike, I'll tell you, and I can tell you exactly, 4 years ago this month, has it been 4 years? I did a meet of the month, actually right outside here at the Swan, by the children's play area, in between the quiet pool, one of the quiet pools, and the main pool. It was a lot of fun. I remember we took a picture on the beach because there was like a sandcastle building tournament going on there as well. We'll have to do that again. We'll do another. You know what I'll do? I'll do a meet of the month here at the Swan and Dolphin. Maybe we'll do maybe I'll do another live broadcast. Excuse me, from here. I'll pick a place in advance. I'll let you know. I'll do it not in my room. We'll go downstairs somewhere here on property and invite you guys in as sort of a live audience, and then we'll all go eat somewhere. Mangello, party of 200, we'll go eat somewhere here when we're done because there's a lot of options. And I will, oh, wait, I want to completely redo my list because I completely forgot. When, when the Dolphin opens up again, Peekaboo, not Peekaboo, Picabu, is, I think, the only 24-hour dining location, I think, on property. So there's grab and go stuff that you can get, but there's also like prepared food that you can get there as well. Once it reopens again, once the Dolphin opens up again, we'll go back. We got to go back, Kate. I'm going to come back with my family. I'm going to stay. We're going to do a meet. We're going to eat. And I'm going to show you some of the things that you didn't get to see here. And I'm hungry again. It's unbelievable how that happens. Becky Mencken says, speaking of Adventures by Disney, whatever could you possibly be talking about? I know what you're talking about because, nice segue, because, yes, our Wyoming Adventures by Disney unfortunately had to be postponed. That was supposed to take place last month. But you know what I think is going to happen? Do you know what I am so incredibly excited for? I literally have been waiting my entire life for it. I'm not kidding. When I say I've been waiting my entire life for it, I'm going to cry. My dad always wanted to go here, and we were never able to go before he passed. And he unfortunately was never able to go, and my mom was never able to go. And one of the places that has always been on my personal bucket list, for a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of places that I feel like I want and I need to see. One of which is the place that my dad wanted to go that he was never able to go. And for me, on a very personal level, I have always felt like I wanted to go and see the Vatican. So that's what we're going to do. Because in March of 2021, we're going to do our WDW Radio Adventures by Disney to Italy. We've been talking about this. We've been hinting about this for a long, long time. I am ready, and Becky and I have talked about this at length to put this out there for you. It is going to be from March 12th through the 19th, 2021. We're going to visit not one, not two, not three, but 4 different locations in Italy: Rome, Florence, Venice, and Tuscany. I know Becky has taken this trip before. She raves about not just how good it is, but again, and you've heard me talk about the trips to China, the trips to Japan, what Adventures by Disney does to not only plus the experience, but surprise and delight you and make it something that you cannot do anywhere else. And it's only made better when we can do it together. So I'm inviting you to come with me. More importantly, I'm inviting you and your family to come with me and my family to Italy, March 12th through the 19th, 2021. Now more than ever, we are going to need this kind of a trip. We need to get away, and I believe, and I'm praying and keeping my fingers crossed that this trip is going to happen, and I truly believe that it will. So this is what's going to happen. Again, this is going to be a WDW Radio group exclusive trip, meaning the only people who are going to be on this trip with us is us. It is going to be filled with members of the WDW Radio family, the nation, and the clubhouse. Now, obviously, these trips are limited in number. It is a very, very small group. It deliberately, intentionally keeping it small, about 30 people or so, to have that type of experience. Now, there are some people who have been on adventures with us before that I know are planning on coming back again. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to send details and a link to members of the WDW Radio Nation first. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to get that email out to you. You will sort of have first crack. You'll have about 24-hour head start on everybody else before I release it publicly. I will tell you that our trip to China 2 years ago, did sell out in, I think, 84 minutes, 82 minutes, somewhere around there. It was under an hour and a half before China was sold out. So if you're thinking about joining us in Italy, I would have that talk with your family and see if everybody's on board. Because again, I am going to release it to the nation tomorrow and then to everybody else the following day. It is a family trip. Kids, I think 6 years as old is really what is very, very, very strongly recommended because young kids, I think, just wouldn't appreciate it at all. So again, this trip will sell out. It's March 19th through the 12th through the 19th, 2021. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Becky Menken from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. She will be able to address anything that you might have. If you are a member of the WDW Nation, first of all, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you very much. Because you are a member of the Nation, you are going to get first crack. You are going to have the first opportunities to get one of those very limited number of spots, and then I will release it to everyone else. So Becky's already saying, I'm sure he's going to want to go back. That's very true. I'm sure I will because I'm already feeling that way about Japan and China and a few other places as well. So I'm looking forward to this trip. I am going to be taking my family. My wife and young kids are going to come with. So if you want to do something that is completely family friendly, I can tell you that there is nothing like an Adventures by Disney. If you don't believe me, go back and check out the recaps of our Backstage Magic tours, which we've done twice, our trip to China, as well as our trip to Japan, or reach out to me directly, too, if you have any questions that maybe you'd want to ask me instead of, or in addition to Becky as well. You can Facebook Messenger or email her or post in the Facebook group, the WDW Radio Facebook group as well. So that's it. Adventures by Disney, Italy. Circle it on the calendar. I cannot wait. So I can respond via email after I send it out with further questions. Matthew, you can. If you think you're going to have questions, again, reach out to Becky directly because a lot of the questions you'll probably have for me, I'll have to reach out to her for. So she is Becky at MEI-travel.com, or you go to the go to the mousefantravel.com website, and she will be able to help you as well. So yeah. Very, very excited. And look, a lot of things have been postponed, put on hold. There was a lot of other things that I have been planning with Becky, a lot of other things I haven't told Becky that have been postponed. But remember, everything that we're all going through at home, at work, certainly here at Walt Disney World is temporary, right? Things are going to go back. Things will start getting to a newer sense of normalcy. So be patient, but I'm looking forward to Adventures by Disney. And oh, by the way, not just Adventures by Disney, but man, I believe in my little nerdy, Marvel-loving, cruise-digging heart of hearts that our Marvel Day at Sea is going to happen this January. Again, every week is a different week and a different adventure in the news, but hopefully this is going to happen. Again, if you want to get a free, no obligation quote, you can go and visit www.radio.com/Marvel Cruise and find out more. Again, I think when cruising opens up, especially at the beginning, it is going to be the best time to do it. Because again, not only are the safety protocols going to be in effect, but I think, for a lot of reasons, I don't think the ships are going to be full. And sort of, if you want to ever feel like you had a Disney Cruise Line cruise all to yourself, I think that's going to be a great time to do it. Now, a couple other things very quickly, if I could find it here. Wait a minute. I did tell you